Today you will learn about decentralized finance. The purpose of this video is to simplify and ease you into a DeFi. Without any further ado, let's get to it. How does DeFi work? Decentralized finance is the replacement of financial intermediaries by decentralized application called Dapps. It is the alternative to the current financial system as we know it, and the DeFi is trying to replace it through smart contracts. Smart contracts remove the need for the intermediaries because it is basically code. Code programmers who are writing these smart contracts provide a production of these steps. In my last episode, I was speaking about Ethereum, and it is the world's programmable blockchain that enables the production of these dApps. There is no surprise that the most dApps are run on the Ethereum network, and that dApp turns all of this into a programmable money. These dApps are the products and services that do the same thing you would in a traditional financial system. With DeFi and these dApps, you will be able to save, borrow, earn, trade, and much more. So why would it be different from traditional financial systems? DeFi is an open and free to use since it is run on open source technology. It is built for the internet, which means all you need to participate is an internet connection. So let's get into the DeFi basics. DeFi is built on three types of technology: cryptography, blockchain, and smart contracts. Let us take a look at each one of them, shall we? Cryptography is the use of written code to secure communication between two people in the presence of a third party. It secures information in the presence of an adversaries concerning your crypto assets. Into this protect your wallet, assets, transactions. It enables the transfer of those assets and information without intermediaries like banks. Blockchain is a technology that collects information in sets or blocks that are connected cryptographically. The result is that nothing can be changed or corrupted. The information cannot be changed or modified, making it immutable. Think of it as a public record of data stored in a chronological order. The blockchain is shared between all users, and as a new data comes in, it is entered into a fresh block. Once the block is filled with data, it is chained onto the previous block, so it's all connected. Smart contracts are self-extinct contracts with the term of the contract being written directly into the code. All of the information in the contract resides at a specific address for a specific purpose, such as bets, purchases, and so on. It is a collection of functions and data that resides in a specific address on the Ethereum blockchain. Think of smart contract as a type of account. This means that they have a balance and they can and send transaction and on the network. These are not controlled by a user though. Instead, they are deployed to the network and run as a program. So how can DeFi make money? Isn't that the question after all? Decentralized finance make money by replacing intermediaries with code. The premium that banks and financiers earn by lending money or being market makers are available to anyone now that we have DeFi and can do this by ourselves. Smart contracts and well-designed DeFi protocol allow many people to aggregate their capital and act as a collective middleman. Fees earned are divided proportionally between the participants. DeFi protocols has also their own native tokens. These tokens can give their holders claim to a percentage of the revenue generated by the protocol or allow the holders the ability to decide the future of the protocol. These are the three main ways that investing in DeFi make you money. Lending and borrowing, providing liquidity, and value appreciation. It is important to understand all these three ways of earning a return. Each way has its place in a well-rounded DeFi investing strategy. So shall we take a look at each one of them a little more deeper? Let's start with lending and borrowing. The first way to make money with DeFi is lending and borrowing. Lending is trading money today for a repayment of the principal plus the additional interest, allowing you to be the one earning the yield. Protocols that allow lending and borrowing require a collateral to be supplied by the borrower. The borrower collateral becomes locked into the protocol and is not released until the borrower pays back and the borrow plus the interest. If the amount of interest they have grows for a certain point, the collateral is released to the lender. Lending asset is actually not the only way to make money here. Some protocol rewards people actually for borrowing assets. You will mostly only see this on a new protocol which try to attract new users to offer rewards for all their services. It could be similar to borrow X crypto for 3% while you get paid 5% in Y token. This is called arbitrage, okay? Two large protocols for borrowing and lending are Compound and Aave. Decentralized exchange are marketplace for the trade of goods, services, and financial instruments. For exchange to be efficient, there have to be required a market maker or a third party to be providing liquidity or allocating smaller players to quickly exchange one good or service for another. Market makers earn the spread between what the small player buy and sell. Cryptocurrency has several large centralized exchanges, including Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, KuCoin. These are both the intermediary and custodian of crypto assets listed on their exchanges. People that trade on these exchanges do not have a complete control of their asset, thereby leaving their crypto at risk if the exchange got hacked or they can't repay their obligation like Mt. Gox. Remember, if it's not your keys, it is not your coins. Okay, next one, providing liquidity. A decentralized exchange allows people to exchange assets without giving up the control of their keys. Neither does they have the centralized body providing the liquidity. Instead, they are using liquidity pools. So what is a liquidity pool? A liquidity pool is a large decentralized pool of assets that act as a market maker instead of a single person, company, or institution. This works by using smart contracts to regulate a pairing of assets. Owner of asset transfer their asset to a protocol and receive liquidity protocol or LP tokens of that protocol in return. When someone uses a DEX to exchange their cryptocurrency for another, they pay a fee of approximately 0.3% or so. LP tokens can be redeemed at any time for a proportional amount of the underlying pairing, which includes what we deposit and proportional amount of the collected fees. Much like new lending protocols, sweetening the deal with extra rewards, decentralized exchange can give extra reward in order to attract more capital. Every DEX is different, but The extra reward you are paid in the DEX native token can represent a good amount of your actual returns. Some popular decentralized exchanges are Uniswap, Curve, SushiSwap. A final way to earn money with DeFi is just the appreciation of the protocol, the native token. This occurs over the long term if the protocol is healthy, maintains a high total value locked, and consistently make money. Native tokens can do many things, including giving their holders the right to vote on governance of the protocol and access a special reward. It is important to be aware that these tokens have been distributed. If a large percentage are controlled by a small number of people, or if the supply is rapidly increasing because of rewards, the token can be subject to inflation and the value can collapse. So let us look at other key categories of DeFi. Stablecoins. Stablecoins are pegged to the other stable assets were created. These are subject to the same static value of the asset they are pegged against, also the same level of debasement. Tether USDT is one of the first stablecoins to be introduced to the world of crypto. Then we have derivatives. A derivative is a contract where the value is derived from an underlying asset, a derivation. Trader can use this to hedge the position to either increase or decrease their risk. Then you have fund management. There are funds that use algorithmic management such as Balancer. It manages your assets to optimize balance in your portfolio. If always maintain a particular level of allocation by constantly rebalancing each crypto asset to optimize your fund. Government Governance is the sense of crypto means that the governance tokens enable the management of the protocol to ensure that the user have a say or can vote. It is another version where some dApps help facilitate user voices for the roadmap of the protocols. They have payments. DeFi enable quick, frictionless, trustless, and creative payment methods. This is one of the key roles that smart contracts will play. User account can be interacted with the smart contract by the submitting transaction that execute the function defined on the smart contract. Smart contracts can define rules like regular contract and automatic enforce them via code. Smart contracts cannot be deleted by default and interacts with them are irreversible. This is what the Ethereum said about it. So why don't we look at some example of DeFi for how it can be used? Example 1. Let's pretend you need 10K to pay a sudden expense. Instead of selling a part of your Bitcoin holding, you want to pay the bill and have no taxable event. Now you got an option to do that. You put your Bitcoin up as a collateral and borrow 20K. As long as you pay the 20K back and the price of Bitcoin does not drop significantly, you will successfully pay the expense, keep all your Bitcoins, and avoid a taxable event. All by the books. Before DeFi, you would have to be forced to sell your Bitcoin, incur a taxable event, and use that to pay your bills. If price of Bitcoins go up, you are also buying at higher price than you accumulate the exact same amount of Bitcoin. Let's take another example. Let us pretend you sit in a bunch of crypto assets. You think they all will go up roughly the same. You just call them token X and Y. You expect both token X and Y both go up with 10% over the next 6 months. You're better off putting them into a liquidity pool and generating a yield. In basic terms, by putting the tokens into a liquidity pool, you allow yourself to earn interest on your asset. If you held them alone, you would only see the price as appreciations. But by putting them into a pool, you also get a yield from them. In a scenario where you think one token will go up massively and the other one will not, you should not do that. You would suffer from impairment loss. So, the conclusion of this all. If the above seems like a lot to handle, that is fine. The real issue is that you are going to interact with this type of software ecosystem in the future. If you remember that when internet came, many people dismissed it and said they didn't need it. And look at us now. Pretty much anything that traditional finance services does can be replaced with smart contracts. This technology is still young, but there has also been seen an immense growth over the last years. Get to know it already now and keep up with it, as it will suck capital away from the traditional financial companies and institutions.